Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we have an intervention or our hands. Look at this orchid. Look what's happening right now. I have to do something about it. It's gonna be one of those close-ups type of a video going back to the old style MissOrchidGirl, but you don't need to see my face for this video. Right, so what happened to this orchid? First of all, this is my Angraecum magdalenae, which I have for about a year and a half now. And what's happened to it is exactly what happened to another Angraecum magdalenae that I had in the past. It suffered from crown rot / stem rot. Now, how did this happen? Well, my suspicion is that the treatment against pests that I did a few months ago, the thrips treatment, while it worked against thrips, it also rotted the orchid. Apparently, I did not dry it well enough. And with Angraecums, it's really not that easy to dry them, as it were, in a home type of environment in a room. Even though I do have quite a lot of ventilation in this room, it cannot really compare to the amount of wind and fresh air they have outside, right? So what I think happened was that insecticide seeped into the foliage and it just got stuck there and it started to accumulate bacteria and pathogens and it affected the orchid in the end. So, oh no. Okay, so I'll give you a close-up. You have to see this. All right, look at this. These are the keikis, and these are the ones that I'm planning to save. This basil keiki, it suffered the same type of damage. It is crown rot / stem rot. It depends how deep enough it went. If it went all the way down, you know, the entire stem is affected. So yeah, mother plant is affected. Some of the keikis are affected. I'm hoping that there are a few that I can save. This one, I'm hoping I can save this one. So I would absolutely love to completely avoid having liquids on top of it, because again, I don't know my bacterial climate here. I don't know if I can offer enough ventilation. I can just put it in front of the fan for 24 hours, fan blowing on it, and still, do you see the structure? Do you see how tight? Oh, there we go. Do you see how tight the leaves are? I can never be sure that I get all of the water out, you know? So I might just rely on the insecticidal sticks if I can manage to save anything from this plant. Anyway, as sad as this makes me, I think it's an interesting subject that we can film. And hopefully, if any of you will ever be in this situation, which I hope you're not, but if you are, I hope this video helps you out. That's my silver lining, and I'll take it. Righty, so this started to happen right around the time that I actually treated for thrips, which, by the way, the treatment was very successful. You can see this orchid has quite a nice root system. It is a healthy orchid, but yeah, absolutely. The time coincides with when I sprayed for insects, and even though it was already warm, obviously I didn't do a good job in having all of that water removed from the crown. Now, this is a downfall, let's say, of monopodial orchids, such as this one, such as Phalaenopsis and Vandas. You only get kind of one shot because they have only one mono stem or foot, podos, right? Monopodial. Given if you have keikis, which are these offshoots, you can save the orchid, but the offshoots are also predisposed to the same things that the mother plant is. So that's one of the downsides of having monopodial orchids in cultivation. They are perfectly adapted to their environments, to their ancestors' environments. So it's not a question of, oh, the orchid is faulty or anything. No, the orchid is perfectly adapted to where it should be. But the catch is, it's not supposed to be in our living room. That's not where it should actually be. So it's not adequately adapted to these alien environments we subject our orchids to. And things like this can happen. Now, from time to time, I do get comments saying that if orchids are just so susceptible to crown rot and everything, they would all die when it rains. And I know this is meant to be sarcastic and a little snarky, but actually, that's not far away from the truth. Yes, in nature, some of these orchids will die from rotting and things very similar to what I'm showing you here, we're just not there to see it. It's part of the natural selection. The strongest will prevail, the weakest will not. And also, if you're from Florida or very warm climates, you might also have seen people on the internet posting videos growing orchids outside in very warm climates. You know that even outside, sometimes you can get a rotten orchid. Maybe you have an extended period of time when it rains, maybe it's coupled with some lower temperatures, whatever the case might be. I do know there are people who will put their orchids into shelter due to the rain because of the rotting situation. There's no way to know if we have a strong individual. There's not much of a natural selection in cultivation. So sometimes even outdoors and even in their natural habitats, these orchids will fall to disease like this. It's a very situational phenomenon, depending on the climate, depending who's stronger, depending on the bacterial climate at that particular moment right there. There are many factors that we don't get to witness, but it's not hard to imagine that they do actually happen. Right, so I have untangled a little bit the root ball. I want to do this because what I need to do is separate this keiki, which looks healthy, from the mother plant, and the other keikis which do not look well. So what I will do is try to grab the keiki very close to its root system, to the base, and just pull these guys apart. If they want to split, if they don't, which I don't think they do, I'm gonna have to cut. In this instance, we do not have a rhizome, like in the case of sympodial orchids, so what I can do is actually cut the stem of the mother plant. The mother plant is completely gone, there is nothing left, everything is dry, so there's no point in trying to save anything here, it is gone. But now I can better see what I'm doing and hopefully better pick the keiki and its root system, which I think I can already see. And it's okay if I break the roots of the mother plant. I'm not going to keep them, so I'm going to prioritize the roots actually of the keiki. Sad part is, Angraecums have very brittle roots, so I'm sure I'm going to damage a few roots from this keiki as well, but it is what it is. Right, okay, so this root is dead, I can cut it. This is dead, I can cut it. But these are good roots. There we go. So looking at this keiki, it actually looks quite healthy. The leaves are stiff, they are not coming off. Not that I'm pulling on it, but I think it is a healthy keiki. So this one is definitely viable. Let's see, here this one is not, look at that, it just came off. This one, let's see, no, it just came off, it's dried as well. It's not viable, and this one was a lower keiki. Let's see, maybe. So it escaped the insecticide, and look at that. It's okay. I'm going to pot this together with the bigger keiki, and this is what's left of the mother plant. Now, you might say, wait, the roots are still good. Maybe the mother plant is still alive. It is absolutely not. I will give you a close-up. So, this orchid suffered from crown rot. The infection came from above and made its way all the way down. So this portion died last. There is a sort of an inertia that happens with orchids. Just because you have a dead stem doesn't necessarily mean you'll have right away dead roots, or it's definitely not starting with the roots. You can have perfectly good roots, but a completely dead orchid. And if you had Phalaenopsis dying off on you like this, you know what I'm saying. It doesn't mean the orchid is alive or that something will sprout from here. It is gone. But the infection started from above, made its way down, so this is the last part that died, which means the roots had some time to still hang on to the plant. So this means that I'm absolutely safe to throw away this ball of mess. I know, counterintuitive, but yeah, that's how it is, sadly. So I'm gonna go find a small pot for those keikis, clean out my table, and come back when I'm done. Alrighty, so here is a tiny pot. We are going to be using sphagnum moss as I used previously. And let me just see, because I actually saw a few mealybugs on the mother plant, or actually the keikis. Let me just see if everything is okay here. I did discover that my treatment against thrips didn't do anything for the mealybugs. Luckily, the mealybugs are easy to remove. The problem is, I really don't want to put any more liquids on this orchid. So just gonna remove them manually as I see them right now. And if they come back, I will put that insecticidal stick in there and see if it helps. So a little bit of sphagnum moss on the bottom, and this cake is in a bad way, but I will save him. I'll give him a shot. Sorry about the noises outside, by the way. There's always a construction site outside. There's never a peaceful moment in this neighborhood. You might notice that the birds are quiet. They're not quiet. They're not here. They're outside. Remember, I had a saved jackdaw during the summertime? Well, she is now gone. We set her free a little while ago, and I arranged the aviary that we made for the birdens. Now the birdens, which are Jackie and Maya, I like to call them the birdens. That's funny. So they're enjoying lots of fresh air and some sun and space to fly outside. Oh my goodness, that's really noisy. Sorry. So yeah, the temperatures are nice now. They're not so hot, so I can keep them outside. I'll bring them back in when the temperatures drop too much in the winter time. But I think for a couple of months or so, we're gonna have a relatively quiet grow room. That's very relative. I would rather have burden noises than construction noises, but hey, I've been sad about it for too many years. I'm done with it. Excessive urban noise has bothered me for my entire life. It is time that I stop being bothered. I can't do anything about it, so might as well just ignore it. Right, so the top layer is, of course, as usual, a bark layer. This will prevent cyanobacteria from forming on the top of my sphagnum moss, which happens a lot here where I live. And it's not nice to have cyanobacteria in close proximity to orchids because it can damage them. So by blocking the light, I pretty much avoid cyanobacteria completely. That's why I started to use opaque pots as well. Roots do not need light. Even though they can photosynthesize, it's just not their job. And rather than using algicides and all sorts of stuff, easiest way, cut the light. If you cut the light, you will not have any cyanobacteria. Righty then. So we are done. Let us write another date. Writing the date on the tag again, so we know when we repotted, and hopefully we're going to be all dandy from now on. And I will be sure to be careful with my insecticidal treatments. I think I'm just gonna go or opt for the sticks, the insecticidal sticks for this orchid, and I hope we're gonna be okay. It's the second time this happens, so definitely there is a sensitivity of this orchid to liquids being stuck in the crown and in between the leaves. So we're gonna avoid that. All right, so we are done. I think everything should be okay from now on. I think these keikis were not affected by the rot and by the infection. So thankfully I could save something from this orchid, but it's gonna be a while until it's blooming size again. The mother plant bloomed once for me and it was beautiful. It smelled magical. I love this orchid. So yeah, it's a real shame that I lost the mother plant and it's gonna be a while until this one blooms, but at least I saved it, so I'm very happy about that. So this is how I would go about monopodials. If you have a rotting situation, the best thing to do is to rely on the offshoots. And I'll keep you up to date with this orchid, but I think we should be fine, and I really hope this video helps you out. Subscribe to stay up to date and watch more orchid videos from me on a regular basis, and with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!